Have any of you ever figured out how to take this stuff with you? I haven't. You know, one guy thought he had it figured out. And he told his wife on his deathbed, he said, "Honey, I want you to take all of my stocks and bonds, all my jewelry, all my cash, all of my deeds and titles, and I want them to be put right up here in the attic above my bed because I'm going to pick it up on the way through." Okay? So she did exactly as she was instructed, and he passed away, and she couldn't wait to go up the next day to see if he succeeded on picking that stuff up on the way through. And as she opened the attic door, she beheld everything as she had arranged it, and she said to herself, "Doggone it, I knew I should have put all of his things in the basement." Okay? So it sounds like he was going the wrong direction, okay? So we don't take these things with us. Isn't it interesting, though, that traditional estate planning in this country seems to focus on the least important category on the family balance sheet? You go to most estate planning attorneys, and what's the first question they ask? You know, how much is your net worth? And then they want to know how many kids have you got. Why do they want to know that? They want to start dividing up the financial assets, okay? They want to start focusing on the finances and dividing it up. Now, wait a minute. I thought that was the #1 rule when you wanted to destroy or conquer an enemy, is to divide and conquer. United we stand. Together we're better. And yet, most traditional estate planning in this country, they start drafting documents that divide up the assets, and all of a sudden, it encourages extraordinary consumption. It encourages that people and kids wait around and say, "What do I get?" It seems to take families from we to me. What's mine? When do I get my portion? And so we find that it seems to do more to destroy families and their assets than estate planning or estate taxes could ever do. In fact, let me give you a few examples. Cornelius Vanderbilt was the Bill Gates of his time. And he was known affectionately as Commodore. Now, he amassed a $105 million fortune by the time he passed away building the transportation industry here in America. He passed away in 1877. He wasn't very philanthropic. He only gave about $1 million to Central University, which became Vanderbilt University. And he divided up his estate and transferred it out to all of his posterity, his children. And what's interesting is it was 96 years before the descendants of Cornelius Vanderbilt, 120 of them gathered together at Vanderbilt University in 1972 for the first family reunion. There wasn't a millionaire left in the bunch. It was all gone. It had all been dissipated, okay? Now, you can, in fact, his grandson, William K. Vanderbilt, said, "It has left me with nothing to hope for, nothing definite to seek or strive for. Inherited wealth has been a real handicap to my happiness." Whoa, that's pretty profound. Now, you contrast that situation with Mayor Amschel Rothschild. He built a banking dynasty in Europe. He passed away in 1812. He had 5 sons. He learned and amassed wealth with conservative investments, trading and coins and so forth. He assigned each one of his sons to a capital in Europe. And they used to buy and sell and communicate with homing pigeons back and forth, okay? When Mayor Amschel Rothschild passed away, he left behind a 3-part system. He had a family bank. Now, this was a conceptual bank, not a charter bank like down the street. This was a repository where he deposited the family wisdom besides the financial assets. And he had 3 rules. Number 1, the children and grandchildren could borrow money. They loaned their heirs the money, and the loans had to be repaid. If you needed to get an education, you borrowed from the family bank. When you got your education and started making money, you paid it back. If you wanted to develop real estate, you borrowed from the family bank, and you went on and developed, and you took and you paid it back. So the loans had to be repaid. Number 2, the knowledge and wisdom that was gained from any venture had to be shared with other family members. So you had to write down and deposit your wisdom and what you learned from your experience in the family bank horizontally with not just direct vertical family, but with horizontal aunts and uncles, nieces, nephews, and so forth. Number 3, they had to meet together at least once a year to reaffirm their virtues and intentions as a family, or they were out of the loop. They couldn't participate in the family bank. Guess what happened to the Rothschilds' wealth?
Central banks of every country.
That's right. It just grew and flourished because of that concept.